Impaired, Judgment Day. As Jesus prepared for his return to earth, he felt a sense of great responsibility weighing on his shoulders. The end of the world was a serious and important time, and he knew that he had a crucial role to play. But as the night before his return drew to a close, Jesus found himself feeling overwhelmed and anxious. In an effort to calm his nerves, Jesus turned to alcohol. He drank more than he should have, hoping that it would help him relax and get some rest. But as the night wore on, his drinking only increased, and he eventually passed out in a drunken stupor. When Jesus awoke the next morning, he was feeling worse than ever. His head was pounding, his mouth was dry, and he was feeling more than a little hungover. Despite his best efforts, he was unable to shake off the effects of the alcohol, and he knew that he was in no condition to return to earth. As the day of his return arrived, Jesus struggled to pull himself together. He was feeling disoriented and confused, and he knew that he needed to get a handle on things if he was going to be able to complete his mission. But no matter how hard he tried, he just couldn't seem to get his act together. One of the first disastrous decisions that Jesus made was to neglect the sealing of the 144,000 chosen ones described in the book of Revelation. As a result, many of them were left vulnerable to the forces of evil that were at work on earth. Another terrible decision that Jesus made was to overlook the importance of the two witnesses mentioned in the book of Revelation. Instead of giving them the support and protection they needed, he left them to fend for themselves, and they were eventually killed by the Antichrist. In his hungover state, Jesus also failed to properly judge the nations and people of earth. According to the book of Revelation, it was Jesus' responsibility to separate the sheep from the goats, and to determine who would be worthy of salvation. However, in his hungover and disoriented state, Jesus made a series of comically bad decisions when it came to this crucial task. For example, instead of judging people based on their deeds and actions, Jesus often found himself getting distracted by superficial things. He would declare someone worthy of salvation simply because they had a nice haircut, or because they were wearing a stylish outfit. At other times, Jesus' judgment was swayed by his own personal preferences. He would save someone because he liked the way they laughed, or because they had a pleasant singing voice. But perhaps the most absurd decision that Jesus made was to judge people based on their ability to perform magic tricks. He was completely taken in by anyone who could pull a rabbit out of a hat, and he would often declare them worthy of salvation on the spot. In the end, Jesus' judgment of the nations was a complete disaster. He had failed to take his responsibilities seriously, and as a result, many people who should have been saved were left to face the trials and tribulations of the end of days alone. Jesus. On a scale of 1 to 10, how would you say your day went? God the Father asked with a raised eyebrow as Jesus returned to heaven. Jesus paused for a moment, thinking about how he could put a positive spin on the day. Well, Father, it was definitely a challenging day. But I like to think that I learned a lot from my mistakes. God the Father raised an eyebrow. Jesus winced, knowing that his father was right. I know, Father. I let my nerves get the best of me, and I made some poor choices. But I promise that I will do better next time.